The following research on a local and an international social entrepreneur will be presented by Kevin Kennedy and Vitra Dial.
Good evening, miss. Good evening, classmates. The local social entrepreneur that we will be reporting on is none other than Mrs. Paula Lucy Smith, and she is the spearhead and CEO behind ALTA, which is the Adult Literacy Tutors Association of Trinidad and Tobago.
And the international social entrepreneur that we will be presenting on is Mrs. Bobby Lenz, who is the founder and executive director of United Development Achievement Center.
In a nutshell, the social problem that Mrs. Lucy Smith recognized was that our twin island region of Trinidad and Tobago had way too many illiterate adult citizens. Her mission was to develop effective adult literacy tutoring for citizens that was built around life skills.
The social problem that Mrs. Bobby Lenz identified and acknowledged was that there was a lack of programs and services that catered to persons with disabilities. United Development Achievement Center, UDAC, has been able to provide services to those with disabilities, and it is a place where these persons are able to learn and discover various things about themselves. They're able to enjoy being employed, receiving a salary, having freedom of choice as individuals, the practice of healthy life choices, being able to express themselves through art, and the development of close friendships, growth and development as an individual, as well as self-discovery in different areas of their lives.
The intervention began in the year 1990 after she attended a UNESCO-sponsored course, International Literacy Year, to train adult literacy volunteer tutors across TNT. She decided to start Alta to offer free structured adult literacy classes, and she instantly tried to encourage some of these very volunteers to get on board with giving up some of their time to tutor adults in several literacy initiatives.
The intervention or social action came about when Mrs. Lenz's company went out of business and she saw the need to create more diversity in the customer base. Hence, UDC started offering programs and services to persons with intellectual and physical disabilities. The determination to do what was best for clients and customers emerged from what Mrs. Lenz refers to as the core values of the importance of choice, and UDAC has been all about that. A non-profit organization, always mission-driven and centered on what is best for its clients.
The trigger for her action stemmed from the fact that there were many persons who would have dropped out of French school without the ability to read, write, or spell, and she was just seeking to provide them with this opportunity or this avenue to improve their lives in this aspect.
The trigger for this action stanches from the context that there were many persons suffering from intellectual and physical disabilities who were unable to find a job or to work, and with the initiation of UDAC, programs and services were now being offered to these adults who possess these intellectual and physical disabilities.
The social value or the impact of the intervention that Mrs. Lucy Smith would have created is that she enabled these individuals who attended the classes to become better readers, writers, and spellers, as I would have mentioned. And this in turn would have improved the overall level of literacy of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And it would have slashed the existing literacy deficit, which transmits into a positive national social change. After she would have introduced the offering of community classes way back in 1992, there were definitely ripple effects and expand markets coming out of this. And she would have also championed the introduction of 5 other literacy initiatives, such as the Reading Circle, which encouraged students to work with a copy of any novel or short story or newspaper of their choice just to practice their reading skills and techniques. Then there was the Youth Lit program, which was implemented through the National Library System to help students ages 9 to 15 with their reading. Then there was the Workplace Literacy Program, and this was designed to improve the reading and writing skills of employees to meet the ever-increasing demands of the workplace. Also, there was Alter in Prisons, and this was an initiative to train the literate inmates in order for them to teach the not so literate inmates. And lastly, there was the spelling program, which incorporated and expanded on the spelling strategies and rules taught in levels 2 and 3 by the highly trained volunteers.
The social value created or the impact of intervention was in offering services and programs to adults with intellectual and physical disabilities. Individuals who participate in employment services through the organization's vocational programs or life enriching services are offered an array of choices, options, and opportunity in realizing their potential as they are assisted with living each day to its fullest. Therefore, the organization is certain that no matter where persons are in their journey of life, they have the ability to enhance possibilities of them having better in their lives. From the organization's initial offering of community-based employment, there have been ripple effects and expanded markets. Since being founded in 1969, the organization has endured several incarnations, some of which were necessary as a result of changes in legislation and some via cosmetic changes. Today, UDSC offers a range of services for persons with disabilities, and these include employment services, which comprises of UDSC mailing services, UDSC shredding services, UDSC assembly and customized packaging, UDAC's laundry services, and UDSC cleaning services. There is also the Life Skills program, which has two levels, Life Skill 1 and Life Skill 2, and these programs for individuals an assortment of experience that will assist in enhancing their daily lives and are personalized to suit the needs and desires of a range of diverse individuals. There is also the Art Junction, which offers an extensive assortment of creative and imaginative art events, which caters to different choices and abilities and different skill levels. And these comprises of poetry, painting, drawing, photography, ceramic, jewelry design, etc. UDAC also offers a program named Step Fitness Center, and it consists of a walk a mile, which basically provides a harmless, administered, and manageable exercise environment for disabled persons who are not able to easily work out in a traditional fitness environment or fitness center.
There were furious well involved in her intervention. Firstly, the introduction of such an initiative could have presented the possibility of having such a large pool of applicants that it really became problematic to manage. This was overcome due to the fact that the tutorings were conducted at 70 classes across 54 venues throughout the country, with approximately 300 volunteer tutors being employed throughout the year, and a student tutor ratio of 9 to 1, which makes it easier for the students to receive the personalized attention they needed. Secondly, generating the necessary funding to keep the community program alive or to kickstart the foundation for the introduction of other programs could have posed a threat. This was overcome by having several sponsorships and partnerships in place. Furthermore, both students and tutors paid a small fee for materials or workbooks, $20 to $50 per term, and to register $60 per term respectively. And these small payments alongside donations from sponsors and friends would have helped sustain the initiative. Lastly, there was a major risk involved in volunteers starting the training and for some reason not going to class or attending regularly. And this may leave the students without a tutor and may cause them to be discouraged and lose their sense of enthusiasm. As a result of this, Miss Lucy Smith would have tried to ensure that the course be only open to those who are able to make that commitment for 2 hours a day, 2 times per week for the full academic year. And in this way, the tutors become indebted to the students and ensuring that the education system doesn't bypass the cohort of students for a second time around.
There were a small number of risks involved in Mrs. Bobby Lenz's intervention, since there were certain prospects that supported and used the organization because of who they are and what they stood for. But then there were those who resisted because of the same reason of who they were and what they stood for. Some people resisted the idea of employing persons with disabilities and the way in which the disabled were allowed to work within the organization. However, the most challenging part for her was running a business that employed persons who were disabled and trying to stay competitive within the marketplace, because she had to face and she had to deal with resentment from the small business community. She was, however, able to overcome these by sticking to the core values and theme of the organization, where she states that every person, in spite of their disability, deserves the right to make their own personal choices. Hence, UDAC continues to thrive on its missions to provide a customized service to people with disabilities and other challenges based on their choices. So,
The social entrepreneurship school that Mrs. Lucy Smith would have adopted is the Social Innovation School. The operation of her organization that she oversees and this school of theory have several dimensions that are in alignment with each other. To begin with, the operational unit is definitely an individual one. It isn't a subsidiary or a subdivision operating as an independent from another organization. Also, there's a direct link between the mission and the vision of Alta and the services offered. There isn't any indirect mission, practice, or activity that is unrelated to what services are offered. Furthermore, the Social Innovation School, as the name rightly applies, innovation is a must, and Miss Lucy Smith would have visualized the concept of these adult literacy classes in her mind and come up with a creative plan and direction to enable it to all come to fruition. Furthermore, it is a certainty that Alta would have followed this school because when it comes to earn the income, the staff, board and volunteers, they place no emphasis on such monetary matters. And last but not least, when it comes to volunteerism, there isn't any constraints. Anyone can volunteer to offer their services. Not only are the volunteers there to tutor the classes, but from time to time they may need volunteers to help with admin tasks or at special events. So for example, photographers, stockroom assistants, library assistants, and office clerks may be needed. And Miss Lucy Smith would have done well to bring all these together to better the organization.
the social entrepreneurship school that Bobby Lenz would have adopted is the Social Innovation School. This school was identified in the setup of the organization, and the Social Entrepreneurship School can be affiliated with each other. The unit of operation, the operational unit of UDC, can be acknowledged as individual since the organization is fully operational on its own. To link mission services of UDC is a direct link to its mission and its offering at the organization. The innovation within UDC has been ongoing as the organization has been able to create and initiate an array of different programs and services since its inception. Earned income at UDAC has been part of the organization as persons are allowed to earn an income via employment. Volunteerism at UDAC offers management between staff, the board of directors, and the volunteers in an attempt to combine efforts and increase opportunities that will assist in the enriching of lives of the clients as well as the delivery of quality services.
In terms of revenue sources, this resource was necessary for Miss Lucy Smith to be able to fulfill her mission. Several donations were made to sponsor students, and this enabled her to continue the social outreach and empowerment by offering the free literacy classes to the national community. Furthermore, in terms of class sponsorship, social clubs and large companies in Trinidad and Tobago would have played their part by lending a helping hand. They were given the opportunity to sponsor one or even more of the classes within a given community, and this sponsorship would have covered the entire academic year. When a company chooses to sponsor one of the programs, they cover the training of the tutors, the volunteers, they arrange venues and classrooms, they provide the books, the stationery, student evaluation forms, etc. Managing these efforts are what Miss Lucy Smith would have thrived on, and it would have allowed her to build strong relationships in the process. As a result, her organization fostered partnership with several local businesses such as Republic Bank, Bermudez, Nales Libraries, National Gas Company, and the United Way organization. Their donations, support, and kindness over the years would have allowed Miss Lucy Smith to continue with her mission. Lastly, regardless of whether one was a student or a tutor at Alta, they were required to pay a small fee for just material and workbooks and to register, respectively, for the semester or the academic year. These small payments, alongside donations from sponsors and friends of Alta, would have assisted in keeping the organization afloat and would allow Miss Lucy Smith to manage the double bottom line of being financially viable and maintaining a positive social change.
Resources and revenues for programs and services at UDAC are usually received from the state and via internally generated funds, donations, and grants. 85% of funding for UDAC comes from the state, and the balance would usually come from its business operation, the donation, and grants. UDSC usually require assistance from granting agencies and donors in an effort to continue its operation of delivering high quality services to its customers, and the necessity of donations has developed over time, especially in times of this economic uncertainty, as UDSC support from the state has been decreasing since 2000, and the situation is now becoming more critical as there have been threats of deep cutbacks and even the closure of the organization. The human resource at UDAC are catered to via persons that are employed or enrolled in the organization programs and services, and through volunteers who play an integral part at the organization with their assistance and varying expertise, which has allowed for the development and growth of the organization.
The business model is essentially a plan for the successful operation of a business. It is the rationale on how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value.
The business model is a tool used to envisage all the building blocks for the effective operation of the business or the organization, and it is the foundation in the way in which the organization creates, delivers, and captures value. Mrs. Bobby Lenz and the UDAC have been creating and delivering value by offering services and programs to persons with intellectual and physical disabilities. Value has been created by the offering of a range of options, choices, and opportunities to persons who have been affected by disabilities, and the UDAC assists individuals to appreciate their potential and living to the fullest each day.
Mrs. Lucy Smith has always let her actions speak loud volumes and displayed several entrepreneurial capabilities along the way ever since she founded the organization. She envisioned the change idea and saw the need for innovation to take center stage and came up with ideas and content for the initial community classes as well as several other courses that follow, which took some degree of innovativeness. Furthermore, she would have played a big role in writing over 60 Alta study guides and texts over a period of time with relevant content, and this would have displayed characteristics of innovation in the best way possible. She was also a risk taker, encouraging the students to come on board without knowing if this initiative will last as long as she initially planned. This took a great deal of courage for her to do so, also not knowing where the financing or sponsorship would come from in the future, and she continued to be adamant about starting this initiative even though it was a risk on her part. Networking capabilities were also displayed throughout the years, as she would have made partnerships and alliances along the way that she can call on in times of need. For example, large companies, businessmen, churches, community activists, etc. She was also a leader in the truest sense of the word. She didn't necessarily lead by calling the shots, but she led by example in an exemplary manner. Despite being the founder and leader of the organization, she also was an active participant in the teaching of the students, being one of the main tutors and offering her full commitment behind the cause. She is always there for her board and colleagues, and even more so for the students, to give them the best guidance possible. This in itself also shows a great deal of accountability on her part, as she is putting her name on the line as the face of Alta, and she would be doing all in her power so that the rest of volunteers deliver on the expectations of the adult learners.
Mrs. Bobby Lenz is the founder of UDAC and has exhibited the qualities of an entrepreneur. She has been able to provide extraordinary customer service and find balance amid business goals and the rehabilitation of the organization. She has credited the expertise of her team and been able to persevere with constant changes in the industry and within the market. Mrs. Lenz was able to form a strategic partnership and network with the post office, printers, as well as advertising agencies, which allowed her and her team to be able to obtain the guidance and assistance of these persons in the execution of the organization's business operations. It can be seen that Mrs. Lenz has been seeking innovation for UDAC, as the organization has been able to implement an array of programs and services since its inception. She has also been a risk taker, having started the organization, and despite several changes, has been able to convert a non-profit asset into a business asset with her dedication and leadership.
In terms of an update on the entrepreneur, Mrs. Paula Lucy Smith is still championing her initial social mission some 25 years after she first began. Over the years, she received several accolades in her name as a result of the positive social impact that she has had on the nation and the region at large. In 2001, she received the national award, the Hummingbird Medal Gold for service in the sphere of education. In 2008, Alta was selected as a model for adaptation and replication worldwide by UNESCO Foundation, and this is an award she also received. She was awarded the 2012 Anthony Sabga Caribbean Award for Excellence for Public and Civic Contribution. And to date, she has 2 Paul Harris Fellowship Awards for Community Service from the Rotary International Group. All the programs but one, which is Alta in Prisons, are still currently up and running and are receiving great enrollment numbers each year. This goes to show that even 25 years later, people are still keen to empower themselves through literacy, and the tutors are as keen and available to get them there. From this month, October 2017, Alta Online will be available for purchase. The programs will be suitable for ages 10 and up, and by the year 2018, this launch will be available for use by almost anyone who needs to develop their literacy skills.
Mrs. Bobby Lenz continues to advocate a primary social mission, and as the years have passed, she has been able to see the growth and development of UDAC and thinks that it is fun to look back and see all that has been accomplished thus far. She continues to support the cause and believes it is important to recognize accomplishments at least once in a while and not focus on failures. Her future plans include growing the organization's customer base, and as such, she is seeking to create its own storefront and expand to other cities in an attempt to reach out to more customers and to more disabled persons.